probably heard people talking about the next American Revolution, especially with the whole Luigi Mangione case. But the question still remains, will we have a revolution like we had in 1776, or will it look different? And if it does look different, what could it look like? And let's just say the last point is probably going to surprise you. So what people often forget about the American Revolution is that it didn't happen overnight. There were a lot of small things that built up before war actually broke out. Overall, it took between 10 and 15 years before war actually broke out to start the American Revolution. And even though this was a long time ago, the comparisons to what's going on right now to then is uncanny. Similarity that we see is that tariffs were a big part of the conversation at this time. Also, obviously back then, the enemy was Britain. And so now that would look very different. In fact, a lot of people say that what it could look like today is the people versus the police, which we have seen in the past 10 to 15 years. Now, we have seen these protests in the past. For example, the 1968 DNC convention, which happened in Chicago, there was a lot of conflict between police and the average person. However, it wasn't enough to start a revolution. And the reason I bring this up is because if we look at the scale, we definitely need something a lot bigger than something like this to be able to catalyze a revolution. Now, the biggest difference that we see is that social media is now in play where it wasn't obviously in the 1700s during the American Revolution, which has been both good and bad. The bad news is that we are very divided on issues because they're readily accessible through social media. And typically what we need to start a revolution is to all be behind one issue, or at least a significant amount of people behind one issue. And see, this is why people think that the healthcare shooting could lead us to revolution, because for the first time in the last 10 to 15 years at least, we're all coalescing behind one issue regardless of political party. Now, what could propel us into revolution is if there were protests going on around healthcare and there was significant violence between police and the protesters. What do you think? Do you think that this is catalyst for a revolution, or is this just another piece of history we're part of? Let me know in the comments below.